This daily dose is brought to you by Pirate.Black. ARRR!
This movement of developers who are building all of this free and open source software is really important in a time when increasingly our lives are all on the internet. There's surveillance of every part of our digital lives, and then you have this small core group of radicalized individuals who are saying, no, let's push back against this. Let's carve out some area of freedom in our digital lives. Talk to me about this cat and mouse game of kind of the government surveillance and then this core group of people who are kind of fighting against that and fighting for freedom on the internet.
I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, I need privacy because, I don't want people looking at me when I go to the toilet or whatever. Like for me, the cryptography or the anonymity is a weapon that we're going to use to overthrow the state. Ross Ulbricht, his favorite novel was a book called Alongside Night, which is about a group of revolutionary agorists who, through free trade and markets, they overthrow the US state. And we have this concept inside of DarkFi that we call the Dark Forest. For example, you were talking about Rojava and the Kurds. The way that Turkey is trying to defeat these rebellious mountain people who they just want their autonomy, but there's this giant state that's trying to bully them into submission. Is they try to destroy all the natural habitat. They try to cut off all the rivers. So that the guerrillas have nowhere to hide. And it's the same, and also the same thing happened in Ireland where it used to be forested with trees. And when the British wanted to colonize it, they literally just cut down all the trees in the forest. So there was nowhere to hide. And they basically turned it into a desert. And it's this kind of desert, which is like authoritarianism, where it performs best. That's why it tries to turn everything into a desert. And it tries to eliminate all the kind of nooks and crannies where kind of dissent can kind of fester. But it's our job really is to create these parallel societies, because where the parallel societies exist is where people can kind of create these new societies where the DNA of how they exist is resistant to totalitarianism from the beginning, and it becomes the seed of the new society we're trying to create. That's the goal of every revolutionary movement. And the agorists, what they believed is that we could use economics as a tool. It doesn't purely just have to be a political struggle, but also an economic one. And that's kind of what Ross Ulbricht, who made the Silk Road, what he was kind of fighting for. That was his belief. If you went onto the Silk Road, there would be the Dread Pirate Roberts, and he would have these reading groups where they would be discussing libertarian philosophy, and he'd put out these little manifestos which would be going, the Silk Road and represent the new form of the market. So that was really kind of an ideological mission for those people. So we're kind of part of that lineage of agorists who, now we have much stronger anonymity tech. We have zero knowledge. We have peer-to-peer. We can utilize this to build a new kind of paradigm of technology. So that's kind of our objective.
You definitely don't dance around words. I think a lot of people in the Bitcoin space, they'll kind of couch terms and they'll say, oh, I'm in this for ideas of freedom and helping people. And you'll just come around and say it. You're like, we want to overthrow the state.
Follow the treasure to Pirate.Black, because financial privacy today is freedom tomorrow. ARRR!